How are you? I just got a fresh one, yes. It keeps, as it gets thinner and thinner, it keeps getting shorter and shorter. Yeah. It's easier to hide it that way.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself and having a good time visiting with one another. I'm going to call on Shawn Foster to come up and lead us in our invocation. Shawn, you can lead us in our invocation and our pledge. It's time for Shawn Foster to lead us in our invocation, the pledge, and the national anthem. You'll pay attention to Shawn. I'm not going to ask him.
Welcome to Rotary. This is a time when we ask if anybody has any major concerns. In addition to Sam Miller, we're going to pray for him. But does anybody have anything they'd like for us to lift up in prayer? Maybe not. Okay. Yes, we're going to include Sam Miller. Yes, right. He's had a series of strokes and they moved him to hospice. This may be the first meeting he's missed in many years. He's 50? Wow, that's incredible. Okay, well, before we start that, I wanted to read something real quick that I ran across a book that was like 100 years old, and it's Rotary is a non-denominational, so rest assured we welcome all faiths, people of all faiths. And but this says, let angels sing for sinners repenting, prodigals restored, backsliders reclaimed, Satan's captives released, blind eyes opened, broken hearts bound up, the defendant cheered, the self-righteous stripped, the formless driven from a refuge of lies, the ignorant enlightened, and saints built up in their holy faith. Let's ask great things of the great God. So let's go pray. Father God, thank you so much for Rotary. Thank you for the privilege of gathering. Thank you for the freedom that we enjoy as image bearers. We lift up Sam Miller and pray that you'll comfort him, comfort his family, comfort all concerned. And we also pray for this group right here. We pray for the Rotary Club. We pray for the community, for the city, for the state, and the country. Please help us to put others first. Help us to love our neighbor as ourselves, and help us to hear what you would have us do today. In your mighty name we pray. Amen. Now, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Thank you, Sean Foster. Appreciate that very much. I didn't ask Richard to run around. Now, there's a lot of happy people in this club because we are the fun club. And so you might want to tell us about something that you're happy about and put a couple of bucks in the happy bucks box and tell us what you're happy about. Anybody, any takers today?
I want to thank everyone for all the good wishes and prayers and cards and song deck and a couple of other cards. I really appreciate it. This is such a great group. And in between my chemo and my surgery, which I'm feeling good right now, I thought I'm going to come to lunch.
I didn't pay last time, but I would like for the people who were missing last time to know the score was Canada 3, US 2. And it was
double, right?
I paid double, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And I'd like to say it was the finest hockey game I've ever seen. I mean, it was wonderful. Forget about the score. I said about before they started overtime that I've never seen a hockey game better than that. So the U.S. has come a long way in the last few years. It's great.
My happy today is we finally got Brian Duncan approved to become a new member.
I am real happy that Doug Gill is here today, and we love him and glad that he's here. And he was the president of the club when I joined. And now look at him, he's old and gray and all that. Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay, now we might have some guests that we'd like to introduce. Anyone have a guest they'd like to introduce? Sean Foster.
My guest is the nephew of one of my clients that I've had for 35 years. He is a student at UT Dallas and is going to graduate in May with a degree in financial management. Sharp young man. Please welcome Braxton Hill.
You have seen this this young man's around several times the last several weeks. Matthew has been coming. This is his third time to visit with us, and we are hopefully that he is going to make an application to be a member of our club. So give him a big round of applause for being a third time. Thank you, really appreciate that. All right, now the next point, I'm going to call on Mark Neese to tell us that he's our marketplace advertiser announcer today. So come on up, Mark.
I haven't seen Happy yet today. Is anybody? I don't think she's here. She usually sits over at that table right there. But Happy Franklin with Navigation Financial is our marketplace advertiser today. I'm happy that I get to announce her because Happy is actually the person that introduced me to Rotary in the very beginning. When she was president of the Uptown Club, and then she transferred to this club and asked me to come visit this club, and the rest is history. So, as we know, Happy is responsible for a lot of members in our club, so I'm happy that I get to announce Happy. Obviously, she's a longtime Rotarian, past president of the 2 clubs, including ours, and served in many district positions, including assistant to the district governor. Wouldn't be surprised if she isn't district governor someday. She grew up, Happy's been a financial advisor since 2001. She grew up helping her dad at A.G. Edwards. Her brother Chris is also in the business in Lubbock and is a Rotarian. She's committed to making a difference in her clients' lives and growing their portfolios so they can pursue their passion in retirement and make a difference in their communities. She likes to make her clients' lives easier and enjoys being their problem solver. She has a business degree and law degree from Texas Tech University and has 5 designations. So Happy would love to be your go-to referral source for service providers for answering the questions that keep you up at night. So she does retirement planning, life insurance planning, long-term care insurance planning, and financial planning. One of the unique things Happy does is helps people determine their top values and goals through a values card exercise. And that lets her know, so let her know if you would like to determine your top values. She also hosts a bi-monthly client breakfast. I've been to a couple of those, and a networking lunch each month, which is also a really good event. So ask her about those. Her prime clients are high net worth individuals, families, and business owners who care about their families, as well as the local community and the community at large. So please join me in thanking the uncommonly happy financial advisor for all she does for Rotary and for being our marketplace advertiser. Sure. You bet. Go ahead. Okay. Oops. I'd also like to announce, last week we talked about our YouTube channel and social media channels, and we talked about our club podcast that is getting ready to launch. Well, we have officially launched our first episode of our RCPC video podcast. It's called Service in Action is the name of the show. And our first episode features Daniel Roby and Austin Street Center. It's about 17 minutes long. It is on our YouTube channel now live. I also shared it on our LinkedIn page and our Facebook page. So if you are not connected and following our social media, or if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, just simply search Park Cities Rotary on YouTube and the channel will come up. And please subscribe. And not only can you watch all of our previous meetings, most of our previous meetings, but now we have our podcast launched, and we're also posting other content up there on a 1 to 2 week basis, a new piece of content every 1 to 2 weeks. So please subscribe and share it. Thanks.
And we have other podcasts that are going to be coming out. North Texas Food Bank, we got that in the can, so to speak, and we're going to be publishing that as well in the days ahead. So I hope that will, give us some traction in public spotlight for sure. Let's see. I'm happy about these things that are about to be announced. Let me call on Susan Glenn to introduce a new member, GLYNIS Worthington. And GLYNIS, come on up with her too, please.
Thank you, President Nolan. Well, y'all, this is going to be a fun Rotarian. She may look pretty corporate today with a, hey, Dr. Jones. But let me share 3 fun facts with you, and I'm not going to take her thunder from her membership minute, but I'm going to keep your interest. Okay, number 1, she and her husband were former members of the Cedar Falls, Iowa Rotary Club, so she knows Rotary. Number 2, she has her doctorate in pickleball. Hello? And the most fun fact to me as a woman is that this year she became the 2025 Miss World in the 60 category. Hello.
Wow.
Is Jill here today? Still here today? If not, Jill and Ellen, she was in the Plano Rotarian Christmas pageant, so we need to get Miss World on our 4th of July float.
I even provide my own.
We're going to have you ride in the 4th of July parade with your own car and put you as a member of Rotary Club. Let's do that. Okay? So congratulations, and I want to give you your packet and your res badge, which I'm sure you're going to work really quickly to get your permanent badge by doing the things that you check off in this packet. Okay? Welcome. We're glad that you're here. Let's give Glynis a big round. I don't know that you have the record for getting your permanent badge done very quickly. You know, he had a problem. He didn't want to come to the board meeting because he doesn't get up before 8 o'clock, he said. And I mean, you know, you're just spoiled, all I got to say about that. But anyway, he actually came as a Zoom participant in our last board meeting, so he checked off that last box. And now he is going to get his permanent badge. Let's give Tom Bright a huge round of applause for his
Oh, well, I could finish my speech
Okay, Tom is my cause, is what he is. Okay. With that said, let's see. We have the raffle drawing. Let's do that right now. I think Van Oliver is the one who took your money today as you bought tickets. I've got the big amount is almost $1,500 and $120 a day. And Lori truffled all these, so blame her if you don't like it. Okay, don't like that. So we're going to ask our speaker to pick one out. Now don't look. You can stay seated. Stay seated. He's going to hold it over your head. He's going to pick a ticket, and then we'll read the number, and that lucky person gets to come up here and win half of $1,492. Okay, here's the ticket. The last 4 of the ticket, the winning ticket is 0267. 0267. Somebody already bought that today. Who is it? 0267. Now you got to be here. 0267. Not you? Okay.
Maybe it was bought by courier service.
Well, you know, my courier service didn't do that. So anyway, let's do another. Let's pick another. Okay.
Pick mine, pick mine.
One more time. Okay, the second most lucky member. Here are the numbers: 0298. 0298. Right here. All right. This is your lucky day. You get to. We're writing here. Oh, are you? become a member, and he might become have some extra cash to participate. Now, the whole premise behind this is our lucky winner gets to see if they can draw the ace of spades from this deck of cards. If they draw the ace of spades, they get half of this amount of money. Unless they want to donate it back to our club. Anyway. This is your, you can keep that as a souvenir of losing today. So anyway, good to see you. Let's give him a round of applause. All right. Now with that said, Jeff Brady is up. He is our chair today. He's going to introduce our speaker, Tom Foley.
Thanks, Noah. Thank you. Well, thanks all for being here today. This is we're going to have a real treat. And I'm delighted to tell you that I first met Tom Foley when cast iron, get this, when cast iron cornbread, jerk lamb chops, and duck fat fried chicken, it's hard to say, came to Farmers Branch. All three of those items came to Farmers Branch in 1 year. It was the summer of 2021, and celebrity chef Tiffany Derry opened Roots Southern Table in Farmers Branch, her first standalone Southern cuisine restaurant. And she's a duck fat specialist, by the way. Everything is better with duck fat. I was the city's director of communications back then, and quickly learned that much of Tiffany's success, by her own admission, is due to her partnership with Tom Foley. He's a former attorney who decided he wanted a career change not too long ago, and specifically something to drive social change. He moved south in 2016, partnered with Tiffany, and she had just launched Roots Chicken Shack in Plano's Legacy Food Hall about that time. Is that right, John? So she had launched Roots Chicken Shack. Some of you may have been out there. It was a hit based on her duck fat recipes, of course, and her glamour. She's a reality TV star, if you haven't heard of Tiffany, who's appeared in Top Chef, Bar Rescue, and Cutthroat Kitchen, among other shows. Together, they created T2D Concepts, a hospitality group with a purpose, which led to Chef Tiffany's Spice Line, Roots Southern Table, and now RICHIE Wood Fire Italian Grill, also in Farmers Branch. So in addition to his work with T2D Concepts, Tom serves as an adjunct professor at Paul Quinn College, the University of Dallas, and Dallas College, as well as serving on the board for Forest Forward and the Texas Restaurant Association. He earned his JD from Villanova and his BA from Colgate University. He now lives in Dallas with his wife and 2 children. So Tom's a busy guy, clearly. He has his finger on the pulse of the Dallas Restaurant Association and the local workforce, and today he's going to share some of his insider knowledge on the restaurant business that he didn't know when he moved his career into the kitchen. So please help me give a warm Rotary welcome to Tom Foley.
Honestly, thank you for inviting me here to share a little bit of behind the scenes. As Jeff said, Tiffany and I are partners. We fought about whose face should be on TV. And as my grandfather said, I have a face for radio, I imagine. So Tiffany is the one on TV. We formed, as Jeff said, T2D Concepts, Tiffany and Tom, Dining Concepts. As Jeff said, we have Roots Southern Table. We have the RICHIE Wood Fire Grill. Excited to announce we're going to be opening a second RICHIE Wood Fire Grill in Epic Central in about 4 to 6 weeks. I run from here to the fire alarm inspection for that location, so hopefully we pass. We have Roots Chicken Shack, one in Plano and one in Austin. We did franchise that. We have 2 franchisees. One will be opening in Addison. The other one is about to sign a lease in Grand Prairie. And you may have heard last year we hosted Chef Food and Wine Festival for all you foodies. Among the other chefs we had there was Kwame Onyachi. I'm a New Yorker by background. Kwame has one of the top 50 restaurants in the world, Safiana in New York. We're going to be hosting that October 24th, 25th, and 26th again this year, so please come out and enjoy some fun spirits, great food, and some wine. Jeff made a mistake of telling me I had 3 hours to share behind the scenes of restaurants. So what I thought I'd stick on the three things theme. So I'd like to share three things I didn't know about the restaurant business before I got into the restaurant business. Three things I'd like you to know about the restaurant business that you may not think of. And then three things that I think are lessons from the restaurant business that transcend restaurants and can apply to any business. So the three things I didn't know. The first one was everything's going to be on fire. And that's literally and figuratively. So coming from the practice of law, if I couldn't make tomorrow's meeting, I would adjourn it. If there was an issue, we'd postpone it. In the restaurant business, something is going to go wrong. What we say every day is it's not if, it's what's going to go wrong. We know things break, and we know people break things. So the stories that we talk about when you build a restaurant business, the behind-the-scenes war stories, I get a call, the fire alarm is going off. I then get a text of a video of our walk-in freezer raining. So I jump in the car, which you do, and I've never had to get up at 11 p.m. when I was practicing law and go to court because I was a civil attorney. And it was civil in the hours. This is not civil in its hours. And I get up there and I put the issue to rest. And then I talked to our sous chef and I said, everything good? And she starts crying. And I said, Ivana, tell me what's going on. She said, well, I walked in the walk-in and there was a little bit of ice on the sprinkler. And I just knocked it to knock the ice out. And when I did that, it broke. And now it started raining in the walk-in. So I was like, no worries, we have it under control now. As it worked out, all of the sprinklers went on. So she said, so I decided I would try and turn off the sprinklers. So I went to the line and I pressed, she didn't explain it this way, the big red button that said emergency, and I hit that and then all the sprinklers went off. So you realize, one, something's going to go wrong and you don't know how, why, when, or where, but you've got to be ready for it. Second, the show must go on. Every day we host a party for either 80 to 250 people at each restaurant. Their reservations are confirmed. We've sent a text. They've confirmed. They are coming. You can't stop that. And when you have vendors that are delayed, when you have team members that don't show up, when the guest comes in, the guest can't feel that. That show must go on. I never thought about the depth of that in the restaurant business. Third thing, no call, no show, no job. When I ran a law firm, I didn't have to worry about somebody not showing up to work, or not calling, or not advising us whether we're not going to go up to work. So our employee handbook now has a no call, no job, no show, no job. Except if you're arrested or you're in the hospital. That's unique when you're talking about personnel in the restaurant business. It is not easy to have a consistent staff performing. And when you have 2,000 square feet or 3,500 square feet, we have 20 to 30 employees consistently, there's going to be something that goes wrong. So having the adaptability and the flexibility is key in the restaurant business. Now is my turn to tell you 3 things I want you to know about the restaurant business. The first one is we sell experiences. I was invited to Highland Park High School. My 2 kids graduated from Highland Park. Shout out to my kids. One just graduated from A&M and he's a management consultant. And my daughter is at Duke as a freshman, and selfishly I got to see her this weekend. So Dad's part is growing. But I was invited to speak to the entrepreneur group, and they were all putting restaurant concepts together. So I said, tell me about your restaurant. Why would I go to your restaurant? And they stood up one to the next. Because my food is, and they fill in the blank. Excellent, the best, special. I'm pairing it with the best chef that I can find. And I said, it's amazing. Let me ask you a question. Your friend tells you, best restaurant I've ever been to. So you decide to go. And you go with another friend, and you order dinner. And the dish just missed the mark for you. Your friend loved it. Your other friend that recommended it loved it. Your dish not so much. Just, let's talk about it. Would you give that restaurant a second try? And the majority, at the end of the discussion, said, yes, I would give that restaurant a second try. I said, amazing. Now let me ask you this. Same restaurant, except the dish, spot on. Best lamb you've ever had. The server, not so spot on. The server didn't serve you quite the way you would like it. You thought maybe the server was a little fast, maybe a little rude. You go back to that restaurant. 0 would go back to that restaurant. So I said, you're not selling food. You just told me you would buy a product that you didn't like and you'd go back again. So you're selling experiences. So when we're in the restaurant business, what we aim to do is make you feel good. If I'm escorting you out of the restaurant favorably, that sounds maybe not favorably. We haven't had to escort anybody out of the restaurant unfavorably. If I'm walking you out and I say, how did you enjoy everything? And you tell me the food was amazing. I tell our team very politely and not so aggressively, we failed. The food should be amazing. That's table stakes, as you would say. I want them to tell me their experience was amazing. That's what we sell. When you go to a restaurant, we want you to feel. We don't want you to taste. Second, people will be people. You set up systems, they break them. You try in the business to engage with the guests. They like to engage Google, Yelp, OpenTable, TripAdvisor. We welcome all constructive criticism. I will say in the restaurant business, if I'm talking to you as our guests, y'all feel pretty free to critique us at levels I'm not sure you feel free to critique other businesses so aggressively. But the ones that get me are the ones that say, best experience, amazing food. We have a Southern restaurant, we have an Italian restaurant. Southern seems to spark some memories from people. They say, it reminds me of my grandmother's Southern greetings. 4 out of 5 stars. You sit there, you're like, best experience. Reminded you of memories when you were younger, and you gave me 4 out of 5 stars. Now, it seems pretty fair, right? Except data will tell you, you as a consumer are going to look for 4.7 stars or higher for a restaurant you go to. You're not going to read the review that says this is the best food ever. So I invite you, as guests of restaurants that you visit, if you enjoy it, give a 5-star review. Don't fight 4 stars. Don't critique. You're not a professor. You're not a teacher. If you think the experience is that good, give that business 5 stars. Because if you're at 4.2, your business is going to fail. You need to be at 4.7 or higher for your business to be successful in the restaurant business. We were talking beforehand. You know the business is competitive. There are a lot of amazing choices. You're going to make those choices with that 4.7 cutoff, maybe 4.6. So if you visit a restaurant and you're not inclined to give reviews, and I never give reviews until I open the restaurant. Now when I go, I will give those restaurants, if I like them, 5 stars. If I didn't like them, I keep quiet. That's your decision. I don't mind those people that decide to share both positive and negative. But please give those reviews to those restaurants that you enjoy. Third, and I say this very respectfully, it's our business, not your business. And I say that because there's oftentimes where I'm called by a guest. Tom, you know what you should do? And then they give a suggestion. And I want you to know, we think about every decision in that restaurant. And I often share with guests, politely, when you wake up at 2:30 in the morning thinking about my restaurant, I'll be awake thinking about it, give me a call. And we can talk. And the idea is oftentimes trust that we know what we're doing, trust that there are reasons behind our decisions, and please ask for the reasons behind our decisions. And I'll give you an example. We had a guest that came in that when they were leaving, husband and wife, I said, how did you enjoy everything? The wife said, it was amazing. The husband says, seriously? I was like, sir, that didn't warm my heart right there. What did we miss? And he said, I ordered the salad and you wouldn't put shrimp on my salad. I said, I appreciate that. I go, it's a Friday night, I'm working. You're enjoying yourself. I don't want to talk business if you're not open to talk business. But can I tell you why we can't put shrimp on your salad? And he said, sure, you can tell me. Little edge. I'm a New York attorney by background, so I feel the edge. I can give it back every once in a while. Don't hold the New York against me, or attorney against me. And I said, let me run through the process. We have par levels, average inventory, that we need to maintain. We have a prep team that comes in the morning. We have to monitor against food waste. We order based on a product mix, a P-mix. How many dishes of this did you sell historically? How much did you prepare for today? And then we order against that, because we don't want to throw shrimp away. Our prep team comes in. Yes, we have a seafood salad. That shrimp is marinated. That marinated shrimp doesn't work from a flavor profile on your salad. So we can't just take that shrimp and put it on your salad, never mind the inventory par level concerns. We then have 5 team members that are on the line, the brigade. They're working systems. We have all these tables to serve. We have tickets that are flowing. If I want to serve shrimp on your salad, I've got to pull one of those team members off the line to go into the walk-in, to take that shrimp, prepare that shrimp, and then put it on your dish. I now have 4 out of 5 team members on the line. The corollary effect is the table that we want to serve in 12 minutes now waited 18 minutes. And once there's a downfall, as you would imagine, it's a domino effect. So as much as I want to put shrimp on your salad, our systems break if we do. And you're not, and I say respectfully, the only guest we have. I've got to prepare against all of us. He looked at me and he said, thank you. I'm coming back next week and I'm going to have the salad, no shrimp. So trust that we have a thought process behind the decisions, and there's a reason. And what I ask is always give us that opportunity to explain why we can't or why we said we didn't do something. Because there's a thought process behind it, and usually a reason or a logic base behind it. Now, 3 things I want you to know can transcend the business. First, presentation matters. You know that generally. Certainly, when I say presentation matters, you think of the food, how it's plated. The depth of presentation, as an attorney, certainly words and description, is powerful. The idea from presentation, I'll tell you in a story where we have a cocktail on our menu called Until Next Time. Catchy name, I came up with it, don't pick on it. And the idea is, this is a drink to toast and you can visit us again. It's an amazing cocktail. Please come and enjoy it. It wasn't selling, you look at the P-mix. So when something isn't selling, what you think about is, 1, is our team doing the right job selling it or explaining it to the guests? So you learn what you do in the pre-shift. You say, team, tonight, let's offer the Until Next Time. Alcohol, we don't let them taste generally. Food, we always let them taste. Taste it. Get the flavor profile. Understand what this is so you can explain to the guests in your words. We try that. Still doesn't move the needle. We then say, let's change the name. And let's move it on the menu. We change the name from Until Next Time to Polar Bear. My name as well, it's a little bit white. I'm not going to start singing. You don't want me singing. But called Polar Bear, and we reorganize it on the menu. The next 2 weeks, it's sold 5 times as often as it did before. Nothing changed, except the location on the menu and the name of the cocktail. Presentation matters. Visit that consistently. Second, set expectations. Set expectations for your team, set expectations for your client, set expectations for your guests. Best example I will give of this. I said we share food tastings with our team so that they could then explain it to the guests. We had, again, Tiffany's my partner, so I'm biased, but we've got the best chef in the country. We prepare a garlic creme fraiche dressing for one of our salads. Wednesday's pre-shift. This is a new dish. We'd like you to taste it. We asked our service team really to share their experiences, not what we tell them, because everybody's palate is different. They taste it. They all loved it. Great. Next day, I, being the person I am, took a little bit of that garlic creme fraiche, put it on 6 different spoons for our servers. We also serve an amazing orange cheesecake for dessert, which has more of a sweet creme fraiche on top. And I said to him, hey team, we're thinking of slightly tweaking the creme fraiche on the orange juice cake. Just want you to taste it. They tasted it. 2 of them literally spit it out. And said, that's horrible. And I said, it's the same garlic creme fraiche you tasted yesterday on your salad that you love. The difference is your expectation. 90% of you enjoying food is your mind, not your taste buds. I set your expectations that this is going to be sweet. Your body reacted. It's a natural instinct to react because it's not what you expected. So you spit it out, yet you loved it yesterday. Nothing changed with your taste buds. So the idea is we have to set the guest's expectations. We serve our pasta al dente. My mom wouldn't have it any other way. I've got the little Italian mom, Brooklyn Italian. Guests in the South generally don't know, a lot of our guests don't know al dente pasta. So they tell you it's undercooked. Once they tell you it's undercooked, you can't recover from it. If you tell them in advance that you may think it's undercooked, but al dente really means to the tooth, so you're going to get a little bit of stick of the pasta to your tooth. That's more of how you would enjoy it if you were visiting Italy. They will not be frustrated with their experience. They still may not like it, but they're not disappointed or frustrated with you. So with your team, your clients, and your guests, set expectations. The last thing, culture. We hear that consistently, but it's so palpable in the restaurant business. You draft off the energy of our team. If you come into the restaurant and our team doesn't look like they want to be there, why do you want to be there? If they're not smiling, why would you smile? So what we talk about with our team is the culture is a collaboration of everybody's individual actions. That's how we describe it to our service team. And what that means is you are happy to be here. I don't know what you're talking about. You really obviously have ways of creating that. You enjoy it. You're paying attention to details. And if we are doing right for our team will do right by us. The best compliment we can get is when they say, it looks like everybody that's here is happy to be here and happy to work here. So when we talk about restaurant competition, and we were talking about at the table earlier, I'm trying to create experiences for you at the table so that when you're visiting the TripAdvisor, you're visiting Google, you're visiting OpenTable to the next restaurant you're going to visit, you think of us, not because of the food, but because of how we made you feel. Those are my 9 different tips in different ways. I know, Jeff, if you have time for questions, I'm happy to have questions asked.
I'll take the mic to folks.
I've got I'll start, I brought Tom in, so I get the first question. Hey, we all know that Michelin has made a big splash here in the DFW area. So, but we're lay people, we don't know the industry. So is that a big deal? And what's the real impact of now having Dallas on that list of restaurants?
Yeah, Michelin coming is powerful. Michelin is a marketing tool. As you probably read through the process, the cities or states that are involved with Michelin have a fee to pay to Michelin in order to be qualified for Michelin ratings. It's intended as a driver for engagement. It puts us on the map from a perspective of a culinary destination. We think, and Tiffany and I talked, the reason we started the Food and Wine Festival last year is we felt like there wasn't a recognition of the culinary talent in Dallas. There are festivals, Chef for Farmers, for instance, but that rotates in different cities. It doesn't look to define DFW as a dining destination. So creating Michelin from that perspective absolutely puts Texas and Dallas on the map from a culinary strength perspective. On the behind-the-scenes aspect, the accolades are a challenge. The subjectivity of dining is interesting from our perspective. The pressure on the chef's team to try and achieve a Michelin star can be onerous. There are certainly stories of people taking their lives after they've earned a Michelin star and trying to maintain a Michelin star. So the pressure associated with that can be unreasonable. What we talk about with our team is we want to give Michelin level service. We want to give James Beard level service. But at the end of the day, it's the guests at our table that make a difference. If we make you feel good, that's the key. So I certainly think Michelin coming is powerful. I don't want to put too much emphasis on it because it can increase the pressure on our team in a way that I don't think is healthy.
You really intrigued me when you said it was an experience. So this past year, I read Will DeVere's Unreasonable Hospitality. I watched his videos, then I made my team watch the videos. Everything, what was it, 150? The customer walks into the restaurant, what's that? How do you do it? I mean, that's so much work to try to get to that kind of level. And I bet you're very familiar with it based on what you're telling me.
Yeah, so if you're not familiar, Unreasonable Hospitality is authored by one of the people that was instrumental in Madison 411, Madison 4. What's the New York City restaurant that was #1? Their goal to reach the #1 restaurant in the world. And I use one example from Unreasonable Hospitality with our team, where you're talking about creating experiences, and it was the attentiveness, listening, understanding what your guest wants, the empathy, so that you can tell the guest or share with the guest what they want before they even ask. And the experience was 4 diners that came to New York to visit all the top restaurants. And someone overheard them saying, you know, the one thing we missed was, you know, the hot dog from the hot dog cart of all the restaurants we went to. So the team hears that, sends somebody to the hot dog cart, brings it around back. They played it in a way that is amazing. They then put it on the table and serve it to the guests. A hot dog may be $4. It's not the price. It's the priceless. It's the idea that you're creating something for the guest that they don't necessarily know they want. It's the Steve Jobs aspect. You want the iPhone, you just don't know you want the iPhone. What we do is we talk with our team around this in the sense of we'll do on probably a monthly basis. I have all of our team go outside. We start in the parking lot. And we say, get out of your car and walk into our restaurant. What do you see? The biggest challenge we're trying to overcome from a hospitality perspective is the maitre d'. That's a very tough position to fill. Tough position in the sense of what I say to our team every time when we're trying to get the right skill set is if I invited you to my house and it's the first time you're coming to my house, or I'm going to use Jeff. Jeff invites me here today. He's waiting for me when I come. He's not designating someone else to wait. He invited me. He's keeping an eye out. Hey, Tom, come on in. Let me escort you. Let me introduce you. Let me show you where everything is. Maitre d's in restaurants usually keep their eyes down. Yes, 7 o'clock. Richard, 2. Okay. Then they look at an iPad for a while, but you're probably confused as to what they're looking at because it takes them a little bit of time. And you're sitting on the other side going, you knew I was coming, right? And I see a table over there. I can go sit down if you'd like. This isn't that hard of a process. And they make it seem complicated. Now, there are reasons for it. You've got to assign servers. You've got to structure it. There may be a 10-top coming behind you, and we need that table so you can't sit. There's reasons behind it. But what I say to our team is, I really should be the one greeting every guest. Now, that's not practical, but we have to create that experience when you come in. That's positive step 1. We tell our team every time, it's how you set those expectations. If you come in and our maitre d' just says, yes, Richard, yes. 2 minutes, Richard. Your attitude right away is, okay, now you sit down. You may not be recognizing this, but you're going to count in your head how long it takes for the server to come to your table. Because right now, we haven't served you properly. So you're going to see if we're going to serve you or miss service again. And I think, I say to our team, the guests will exaggerate because their perspective at this point is frustration. So where they would give us tolerance if we give a warm welcome hug, they don't have any time. Now, if that server comes late, that's strike 2. If you're a baseball fan, you know you're waiting for strike 3. And you're looking for strike 3. So I say to our team, those are the aspects when you're thinking about unreasonable hospitality. What are you doing to create that unique guest experience? And then the challenge is the execution. All the time, we have great ideas. Everybody has great ideas. It's the execution. Every entrepreneur will tell you that. Right? I should have done that, but they do instead.
Thank you so much for coming to speak with us. When I go to a restaurant, I'm with my wife, I'm with with some friends. My experience is I want to be able to talk to them. And I want to be able to hear them. And there are so many, I've not been to any of your restaurants, but there's so many restaurants in the city where that's not possible. They're yelling, they create the restaurant so the sound bounces off the walls, they have music blaring. It's not a good experience for me. I don't understand why restaurateurs feel like that is the atmosphere that they want to create for it.
You know, you could visit our restaurant and that would be one of your complaints on certain nights. It's an interesting challenge. So you think about design components, you think about acoustics, you think about the experience or the environment you want to create. Music is part of that. The challenge we find often is, and I say this very politely, it's the loud guest. And once there's one loud guest, that you can't control the volume after that. And it's very difficult to manage against that. You can think about, you know, we have guests that will suggest just have less tables. So you have less guests, and you're like, I appreciate that, but I gotta pay my rent. Every one of those seats is a certain amount per year annual revenue. I can't just remove that seat. So there is an aspect of potentially squeezing in a little more than would be ideal from an acoustic perspective. Root Southern Table, and if you haven't visited, please do, duck back fried chicken, you'll come back. The volume is high, the ceilings are high, it is hard designed components. You can't have soft floors in a food service location, so you have these challenges. Every one of our paintings has soundproofing behind it. Every one of the chairs has soundproofing under it. We still fight that battle. I call an acoustic expert that does theaters. And he said, what we could do is close your restaurant for 2 weeks, spend $25,000, blow something on the ceiling, and it should work. So I feel you from a volume perspective.
Baffles.
And what we've done is we've watched, and I promise you it's not this simple, but it does amount to that one table's having a little bit of fun. So this table needs to increase their volume. This table needs to increase the volume. It happened in Ricchie the other night, where Tiffany's behind, she's running Inside Expo calling the tickets, and literally she's like, I need 2 Branzinos! And I was like, Tiff, like, we got some loud guests, I know you're trying to go over them. So it's a battle every day. So I feel you, we don't have a solution yet.
How do you train servers to be attentive and not intrusive?
You know, it is, we call it coaching in the moment. We talk about, and the challenge with the restaurant business is, think about any party you've ever hosted. What do you open the fridge the next day and you're like, I never served the dip, son of a gun. Or I didn't offer this cocktail. We were supposed to do that. In the hospitality industry, you pick on yourself every day. We should have done, we could have done, we could do this better. So we have to balance how we talk with our service team, but we talk about coaching in the moment. And we talk about when they're overstaying their welcome, our phrase in the restaurant is, just remember they didn't invite you to dinner. So that's their call of pulling away. The challenge I have, and I've said this to my team, I have my own law firm. And when we hired an associate, I wouldn't let that associate talk to a client by themselves for a minimum of 6 months. We now hire a server, and in 6 days, they're talking to my client. And I don't know what they're saying. So the idea of having that training component and making sure that they're reading the guests, and then part of our floor leadership, we call them leaders, not managers, but we have active management on the floor. Their job is to read the guests because they've got a different level of sophistication to understand the guest's experience. So they can say, John, table 2, let them be. Right? And then we'll ask them, what's the experience? Who's at the table? Are they celebrating an anniversary? Is it a business dinner? So they can take all those cues to then say how you should engage or manage that table. It's an everyday process.
So I grew up in Farmers Branch. I've been to both Roots and Ricchie,
Yes.
and I would recommend highly that any of you that haven't been there. They're both phenomenal. And I'm eating in Brooklyn for pasta anytime. Related question, because one of the things, and I'd love for you to have a restaurant, but you know, I always hear is the problem of turnover. And you've talked around it, but how do you overcome that? Or is it a problem for you? Because I suspect in a finer restaurant like yours, maybe not so much, but I think it's a pretty transient workforce, right?
Yeah, it's certainly difficult finding talent and then skilled talent. We always emphasize that we will not sacrifice service through our hiring process, meaning I'd rather explain to you as a guest that we can't seat you at those 4 tables because we just don't have the staff, than to seat you at that table and have a poor experience. You'll try me again more likely than not if I can't seat you, but you won't try me if you have a poor experience. We learned that from the seniors at Highland Park High School. What we do is, when we have key positions, I will make sure I speak with each one of those team members before they join. And I'll share with them, I'll say, we have our core values. Welcome to our table. And welcome is an acronym for our values. And I then run through them. If you're interested, I'll catch up with you later. I run through them, and then I'll say, tell me, do you have any questions, thoughts? Does anything resonate with you? If they say no, no questions, they're not hired. So we need you to live our core values. You need to understand who we are as a restaurant group. And if you don't have any questions or interest in it, we know our price point is high. Restaurants work off of PPA, per person average, how much you're going to spend by sitting there. And our restaurants are above average. So as a server, and we're busy at Root Southern Table, the beach is getting busier now too. So as a server, we've got good food, high PPA, and a decent amount of covers. That means you can make money. If you're coming in solely to make money, we don't hire you. And then we focus on, what I didn't share is we have a learning management platform behind the scenes. So you heard that I don't teach at all those schools every semester, I rotate. So right now I'm teaching at UD business law, and then I teach hospitality law online asynchronous for Dallas College. What we're doing is using those learning management platforms to provide educational opportunities for our team members, so that if they want to learn how to invest in real estate, we put up leasing an apartment 101. Then we talk about the training process. So what we do is we pour into them from an educational perspective and hope for that leading to longer retention, and knock on wood, we've been pretty lucky with that.
Okay, I just want to say I've been to both restaurants too, just like Eric, and I'll put it this way. When we have guests come in from out of town, the first couple of places we think of to take them are RICHIE and Roots. They're really good. Hey, talk about experience. One of my favorite things is one of your cocktails. You want to tell them about the Mario Puzo cocktail?
Yeah, so the last one we have, if anybody's familiar with the cocktail called the Godfather.
Yeah.
Ours on the menu is called the Puzo. So I'll make this story quick. I feel the pressure, the king's coming. So I'm practicing law, and on supervisor's day, one of the executive assistants says, well, I got this book of words for Joe. I'm like, oh, that's great. He's like, Joe loves words. I'm like, most attorneys love words. That's how we make a living. So I'm good with that. And she's like, no. Joe's dad is Mario. And I was like, oh, good. My dad's Bob. Again, this is how it works. And she goes, no, Mario Puzo. And I said, this shows me I read less fiction than I should. And she goes, the author of The Godfather. And I said, in my mind, why is Joe working here? This guy's the author of The Godfather, is where my mind goes. And Joe comes back from court, and I said, Joe, got a question for you. Did your dad author The Godfather? He said, yes. I said, well, Joe did that to me. And I was lucky enough, about 2 months later, to spend 2 hours with Mario Puzo before he passed away, asking him all questions about writing The Godfather. So we named the cocktail the Puzo after Mario Puzo.
It's great. It's cool.
Thanks, Tom.
Now, have you learned something? Did you learn 9 things today? Okay. Christ and His mission right here. I mean, well worth coming today. And thank you so much. A book is going to be placed in your name and your honor at the Jack Lowe Senior Elementary School. And it's not a big price. You can't spend that. But at the same time, it's education. Thank you so much for coming. I sure appreciate it. You did great. Now, next week, we have Richie Butler, who's going to be coming and speaking to us. I had a talk with Richie to come. He was pastor of a mission wonderful Afro-American black men that I just love to death. We had a preach-off. I love the guy. And so we had everybody come together, the black choir came, we run the white choir in our church, and that was heaven, what that was. And we had the best time, and then what we did is we tagged him in preach. Well, let me just say this, he won. But he's going to come and talk about the value proposition of diversity. Now that's kind of a hot topic in our world these days. But you know what? Richie Butler is a person that can give clarity in that arena. And so I want to invite you to come and be a part of that experience, because it is going to be an experience. You're going to love it. I'm not going to be here. My kids invited us to go skiing with them, and I had to choose between staying here with Richie and going skiing. I chose my grandkids. So Richard is going to be the chair today, but he knows Richie as well. And so I think you will want to be here. It's going to be a great time, and I think you're going to enjoy it. I haven't really told Richie that I'm not going to be here yet. Oh well. It's been good knowing me, I guess. Anyway, that's something to look forward to. I hope that you'll be here next week. And finally, as we stand, I'm going to call on GLYNIS, our brand new member, to come and lead us in the 402. Let us come and do that.
Please join me in the recitation of the 408 text. First,
Is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned?
and according to the Cedar Falls Iowa group, I have another question.
We are the Fun Club. Don't forget that. Thank you.
Ain't that the truth?